going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're here for a brand new Madden 25 off-season rebuild, which is going to be unlike any other rebuild you're going to find here on the YouTubes. We are using the power of the most up-to-date Ultimate Rookie PC mod, which is going to give us the most accurate rosters. It is going to give us the most accurate rookies from the 2025 NFL draft class. And today we are rebuilding, as requested by you guys, the LA Chargers, who went old school. And I appreciate how Harbaugh going old school by drafting a running back in the first round, a running back that during the mock draft cycle, I would also have going in the first, alongside Ashton Jeanty, and that is Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. If you watch North Carolina play over the last 2 seasons, he literally was the entire offense. He would carry that team. It's one of those ones where it's like, I almost kind of wish Bill Belichick was there last year and or Hampton returned, because I think, knowing how Bill Belichick utilized the run game, there might have been even more Heisman hype around an Omarion Hampton. But taking a look at this Chargers team, a very interesting team. This is not a team that needs a full-on tear it down, fire sale rebuild. There's a lot of pieces in place. It's borderline a rebuild that you need 1 or 2 things to maybe get them over the hill. When you take a look at the offensive line, it's pretty good across the board. Slater's a stud. Joe Alt, absolute stud, second-year player, one of the best tackle prospects we've seen over the last couple years. Zion Johnson's a versatile lineman. They get James over from the Raiders, who's a serviceable center for the time being. You get Mekhi Becton joining from my Philadelphia Eagles, which is very annoying because he was very good for the Eagles last year. I really wanted to re-sign him, but, I think Philly could have afforded the contract. I actually think the Chargers got a little bit of a steal, all things considered, for the price point for Becton, because there's always going to be the what if he could play tackle. What if, there's an injury to a Joe Alt or Rashawn Slater? You probably will try Becton at one of those tackle spots. And, he's just an absolute monster. So that is sick for them to get. And he's, as far as a run game is concerned, he is a road grader. And I think with Hampton and Najee Harris coming over the Raiders, this is going to be an old school team. This is going to be a team that's going to take the pressure off of Justin Herbert. It's not going to be like 2-3 years ago where Justin Herbert had to throw the football 40 times a game. You got Tyler Conklin at tight end. He's solid, serviceable for the time being. They got Gadsden, the rookie out of Syracuse, who's also pretty interesting. I think there's a little bit of a question mark at this tight end room, but I feel good about the O-line, feel good about the running backs. The wide receiver room is interesting. You get Ladd McConkey, who was a breakout star last year from the Georgia Bulldogs. He's going to be awesome for us in the slot. As far as outside playmakers are concerned, we have guys that could step up. The returning Mike Williams, who's always been a guy that if he can stay healthy, he's a damn good receiver. You have Quentin Johnston, who was an absolute first-round bust year 1 of his career. Bounced back a little bit, last season, maybe not enough to say, you feel real optimistic about it, but you feel optimistic that year 3, he's going to continue to build and emerge as a reliable target. You get Trey Harris here kind of behind the webcam, the rookie out of Ole Miss. I thought that was a great get. He was one of the best wide receivers in the SEC. So we're about 4 deep at wideout. Weapons for Justin Herbert, who's an interesting quarterback. The discussions on social media around Justin Herbert are very interesting. Is he an elite quarterback? Is he a very good quarterback? Are you putting him ahead of Jalen Hurts? Kind of is the discussion when you're ranking the top 5. If you're going off of pure talent and throw talent, you're probably going to have Justin Herbert in that top 5. If you're going off of the intangibles, if you're going off big game ability, he just hasn't shown it. Anytime I like Justin Herbert. Okay? I think overall, if we're just doing general quarterback rankings, I would put Jalen Hurts ahead of Justin Herbert, because there's not that big of a discrepancy from a talent standpoint, but the discrepancy between a Jalen Hurts winning games and Jalen Hurts playing big in the biggest games, and Justin Herbert and how badly he plays, unfortunately, in the big games for Charger fans, that's the hugest knock on him. I think you go arm talent. I think you go just quarterback talent. Justin Herbert could be a top 3 quarterback in the league. Does he have a signature win in 5 years in the NFL? I don't necessarily know that. But in this rebuild, I have 0, -5 plans on moving on from Justin Herbert. This is going to be his team. I need to figure out what I need to do, what pieces need to come in place to put Justin Herbert in the driver's seat to take this team to win a Super Bowl. An awesome quarterback. Very fun to watch. I am a fan, and I hope, the addition of Omarion Hampton, the addition of a Trey Harris, bringing out Mekhi Becton is all in part a ways to get Justin Herbert into the playoffs and go on a run. Now, the defense is a different story. I feel real optimistic about the offense. I look at that offense, I might need one or two pieces throughout this rebuild. Everything else, as long as the salary cap works out, should be set and forgot. The defense is a different story. The front three has a very limited ceiling. Kind of just guys. The front seven, Henley got some upside. Tui Pelotu has some upside. Outside of that, you got Perriman, who's kind of just a dude right now, like a solid veteran. You got Colson, who followed Harbaugh over from Michigan in his first class. Maybe there's some upside there. You have Khalil Mack, who's an ageless wonder, but in a rebuild where we are trying to win a Super Bowl within the first 5 years, and then obviously if we don't get that in that traditional 5-year time frame, we will go into overtime, years 6 through 10 if need be. Khalil Mack's probably going to retire after 1 year. We'll be lucky to get 2 years, so we are going to have to find a new pass rusher sooner than later. And moving off of Joey Bosa in the offseason, it's a very valid concern about what this pass rush is going to look like for the Chargers next year. The secondary for the Chargers is maybe a little better than the front seven. We got Gilman and Molden here, who are solid, both 79s, both on the right side of 30. You got Tarheeb Steele, who was an absolute steal in the draft value pick, 80-star dev. Ben Shanes, I also will say low-key, Chargers employ a lot of Canadians. They usually are the team that has the most Canadians on their roster. You got, Ben St-Juste, Deane Leonard, I feel like you had another one that I'm tripping. Do you still have, what's that dude at wideout? Didn't you have, he didn't go in free agency, did he? Oh, man, Josh Palmer's on the Bills? How did I miss that? Okay, well, at least over the years, the Chargers have employed Canadian football players, which is awesome. But if you look at the corner room, Still's probably the only guy that you feel has, come year 5 this rebuild, is going to be still playing at a very high level. And then you got Derwin James, who made first-team All-Pro. Now, am I going to get upset that they kind of pigeonholed him and penciled him in as a nickel to get him an All-Pro because safety was crowded, and that kind of bumped out Cooper DeJean, who was first out? That makes it a little annoying, but that just means that the other day, Derwin James still playing at a very high level. However, he's 29 years old, so pretty close to his ceiling, if not, harsh regression for this upcoming offseason. So the defense, that's probably where we're going to be making a lot of investments, be it free agency, be it if we need to find a trade, be it the 2026, 2027, 2028 realistic draft classes from college football. I think we're going to probably need over the years corners, front three players, linebackers, edge, and off ball. And I think on offense, you might need a center before too long, maybe tight end, maybe a wide receiver. But for the most part, I think the offense is plug and play. So with that being said, let's get into year 1 of this rebuild. I don't think this is going to be one that's going to be too tricky, but you never know. I have no idea what the state of the salary cap is here for the Chargers. That can make things a little tricky. But I'm very confident that we're going to get this Super Bowl done within 5 years. Also, an update for the draft classes. These are updated. This is the first fresh, new draft class. It's mostly still the same players, but new player portraits ratings have changed a little bit, which is good for me because it's always a little bit of a challenge when we kind of re-up and use players maybe that we've already used in rebuilds. I kind of remember the ratings a little bit, so when you get this a little bit of a shuffle, we get a lot more player portraits added in, which is sick, and I believe there's a couple more scans, new custom scans and face. So, just cannot upsell the Ultimate Rookie Mod. If you're on PC, it is the perfect, most authentic way to play Madden franchise mode. And I have released over the probably about a month ago a tutorial on how to get everything Ultimate Rookie Mod. If you guys, I have a lot of people always reach out and say, hey, C4, what are the rosters? How do I get this? As long as you're on PC and not console. Because console players are the most hard of hearing people I've ever heard, because the amount of people that I say, clearly, this is only on PC, and they go, how do I get this on console? You can't get it on console. You need to, steal your, okay, I'm not going to say steal. Maybe borrow, if you have a nice laptop at your school, end of the school year, maybe you borrow it for the summer. Borrow it, return it in September or August, whenever you go back. And if it's good enough to run Madden on PC, might be worth it for you. Good mid-season for the Chargers. We're 5-2. Easy-ish schedule. Like the last couple games, we had like the Giants, Titans, Colts, Raiders. Like winnable games. I feel like we've won the games we're supposed to win. You'd think they'd win on paper. We've lost the tough games to this point. So 5-2, still a hot start. Offensively, looking pretty good. Running the football really, really well with Omarion Hampton, since he's right, as of now, kind of the featured player of the video. We have $143 million of cap. So I think we start right away by getting a 5-year, $150 million for Rashawn Slater. Then we follow up. I think Zion Johnson is worth a contract extension, especially with that coming in under $10 million a year. If you'll take that, that's easy business. Keep that left-hand side of the O-line together. Don't really need Najee Harris. I think it's going to be a bell cow with Omarion Hampton. We have St. Juste. That's just a really reasonable contract for depth. I might come back for a little bit more. There's a little bit of Canadian bias there. I think Gilman, that's a decent contract as well. Keep him for the rest of his prime, at least 29. I definitely think we'll come back for St. Juste at that price point just for corner depth. Khalil Mack will be a wait and see. If he doesn't retire, we'll definitely... If Khalil Mack doesn't retire, we'll gladly bring him back on a 1-year rental. I think there's still plenty of just like win now with having Khalil Mack on the team. There's a bunch of other veterans that I'm not worried about retaining at this given time. But very healthy cap situation right now for the Chargers, who already have that mega extension for Justin Herbert already on the books. So something that's kind of crazy as we sim. Now, I'm not going to highlight right now. I'm not going to show you in the flesh that we were 5-2 and now we're 5-8. I'm not going to show you that. But I'm going to show you Tui Pelotu, who we need to step up with Khalil Mack being uncertain. So week 10, he had 10 sacks of the season, which is awesome. 15K XP. It gave him 3 upgrade points. He was a 77 overall speed rusher. 3 upgrade points. I spent all 3 in speed rusher, which should be finesse move. All 3 from 77. He gained plus 7 overall. From 3 skill points, got 10 power move, 4 tackle, 5 play rec, 3 finesse. I have never seen a player from 3 skill points into a archetype of speed rusher go up 7 overall and now be 84. See, there you go. He was 77 speed. I spent 3 to make him an 80 speed, and he's like, oh, actually, I'm just an 84 power rusher now. So that's... Maybe that's the tutelage of Khalil Mack happening. All right, that was fucking terrible. 5-2, finished 6-11. To break it down as like what sucked. Like on paper, our defense probably isn't a guaranteed playoff caliber defense. Defense was top 10 points against. Offense was not great, but like almost top 10 passing. The thing that was wild is like before our bye week midseason, we were like a top 3 running offense. So for some reason, that just was non-existent. And we need to feature Omarion Hampton heavily. Justin Herbert finishes kind of outside. Like, you need better from Justin Herbert. I have concerns about this Chargers playbook. I'll say that right now. A lot of concerns offensively. If this is going to be the winning combination. But 4,300 yards, 26 touchdowns, 11 picks for Herbert's not brutal. It's also for a superstar $100+ trillion quarterback, not good enough. Running the football, we didn't even get 1,000 yards, which is disgusting. I don't also know how Najee Harris led the team in carries. He is RB2, and the only thing that he's a starter in is at power back. And he just cannibalized the potential breakout of Omarion Hampton. So that is annoying, because Hampton's our RB1 and our third down back. But we're letting Harris walk, so I'm expecting a huge uptick in production for Hampton year 2. That should help out the offense. From a receiving standpoint, Ladd McConkey went off. 91 catches, almost 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns. Lethal, just under 1,000 for Quentin Johnson on 6 touchdowns. So that's really good for him. Conklin was solid. The rookie Trey Harris got involved defensively. Tackles are on point. We got 16 sacks from Tui Pelotu. Breakout campaign. 12.5 from Khalil Mack. So as long as he doesn't retire, I have every bit of plan of trying to bring him back. Our interception numbers are fine. Probably could be better. I think I'm speechless. How did Hampton get so little carries in the second half? Like, he was looking like a front runner for Offensive Rookie of the Year. It's going to be very difficult in the AFC with Travis Hunter and Genty there. Last I heard, Shamar Stewart's thinking about re-entering the draft. All right, so the good news is in a down year, Justin Herbert, no dev trait cannibalization. You know, our team's underperforming this didn't steal away any dev traits that I'm seeing. Ladd McConkey gained an X factor. Justin Herbert kept his superstar. I think with Hampton, the clear-cut RB1 next year, I'm not going to say you could just add what Najee Harris did, but I'm confident that we might have the running offense that Hampton can continue to pop off dev trait-wise. On the defensive side, Tuipulotu, damn, I thought he might gain a dev trait. Nothing. Breakout campaign gets nothing. And Khalil Mack got an X factor? Huh? Explain that. Kind of wild. But we also, Deshaun Hand goes from normal up to a star. Derwin James, at his age, keeping his dev trait sick. Gilman gains a star dev. So, all in all, for the fact that we now are, from a roster standpoint, didn't really face any aggression. We're no further behind than where we were starting this rebuild. And we get pick number 5, a top 5 pick in 2026, which either we're going to use or we could trade that for future picks. Let's go. Wow, Khalil Mack doesn't retire. Interesting. Thought 100% chance he was. All right, so we're going to decline the 5th-year option from Johnson. And honestly, I still think he's worth developing. But Khalil Mack, 1 year. How much is this going to cost? I'll go 15.5 and 10. Because likely at that number 5 spot in the draft, edge rusher is probably going to be a very smart investment for us. I don't think there's probably going to be a 3. It could go on the front 3. But we'll go 1 year, 25.5 for Khalil Mack. And honestly, we still could draft a pass rusher. Because Khalil Mack is for sure playing only 1 more year. Free agency, really only want to spend it investing on the front 3. But, sound like a broken record. If you need 3-4 defensive linemen and you want to rely on free agency, you are going to be shit out of luck. So take a little peek here at Mock Draft 5. How things are breaking down. Now, I'd love to get TJ Parker. We are currently projected to get Peter Woods. Now, I've used Peter Woods, I think, in 2 off-season rebuilds at this point. And I say in time again, every rebuild is independent of one another. I'm not necessarily going to immediately write off players because I've used them before. But I do like, if things are kind of equal, maybe to go somewhere different. Like, I've yet to use Ruben Bain in a rebuild. He's a big-time player. Oh, Uyunglele, a 3rd, 4th round talent. That feels like some sort of draft scenario has completely tanked him. LT Overton's a scheme fit, 285-pound pass rusher. There's just no way these guys are day 3 talents. I refuse to believe that. But Christian Miller, got Zane Durant. Got a couple interesting options here for sure. I may take a swing here at Ruben Bain. That's an intro. I just haven't had the opportunity yet. And Ruben Bain was insane as a true freshman for Miami. He was hurt. He's a guy that a lot of people are, for this upcoming college football season are expecting now healthy, him to kind of remind everybody just how dominant of a pass rusher he could be. 6'3", 275. Now, that's a unique build as well. 275 is like your tweener. I feel like you might be able to play a couple different positions. If I draft him, I might be able to put him on that front 3 even just for year 1 and then have him move up as like a primary edge when, hopefully, Khalil Mack retires. And Khalil Mack mentorship tag should help Ruben Bain. So I think that's the direction we will go. Oh, the pick 5 in the 2026 NFL Draft. The LA Chargers. A power, B finesse, A block shed, A tackle, elite jumping, elite change of direction, great speed, great acceleration, strength could be better. Select pass rusher out of the U, Ruben Bain Jr. Value, you'd like to see that be a little closer. 13th in true value at pick 5. But ultimately, this guy's going to be a beast. Because we have top 5 picks, really, our second and third round picks are also going to be relatively good gets, I think. Center's the only spot on the offensive line I'm concerned about. Logan Jones, Parker Brailsford, both legitimate options. Would love probably that to be a third round selection. Defensively, still looking for front 3 players. Ugh. I mean, we look at the actual D linemen here. We got a couple. Corleone, first, second rounder. DJ Hicks. You got Lee Hunter. You got Aaron Graves from Iowa. Interesting. Harold Perkins is still there. Lander Barton. Off-ball linebacker. Derek Moore for a pass rush. In the secondary pawns, you got Domani Jackson, who in my first way too early mock draft, I had him going to the Eagles. Late first round, Chandler Rivers, Christian Grant. There's some real nice corners still on the board. That's probably the best group of players that are available. I think Jalen Kilgore at safety is incredibly interesting. He could play nickel. He could play nickel and then maybe just, I think that's best value. Nickel is a corner spot. He'd be our third corner. We can have Still on the outside. We got. I think we just trust the board here. Kilgore is a dog. 6'2", 220. 107. No, at least we get the dev trait. But man, oh man, true value has not been kind to us. All right, so pick 5 of the third round. This is probably going to be our last chance at getting a dude. We got, Max Clare. I mean, there's still some really nice tight ends available. B pass block. And Brailsford is pretty undersized. 6'2", 290. It'd be, does he have a dev trait or not? If not, I mean, if we're looking at defense, there's still some nice linemen available. I mean, corners are still tight end. What's our tight end situation right now? We got Gadsden as like the upsidey tight end. How old is our tight end? Who the hell is our starting tight end? Got the dude, Disley. Gadsden, so 30, 21. Gadsden, 2371, 90 speed. No dev trait, but I feel like that's a guy that might be worth developing. He was a beast at cost. So I think we'll go center. I think we'll grab Brailsford here at center. Hopefully there's a dev trait there with 1 second left on the clock. 89 in true value at 69, but we do get the dev trait. Let's go. So take a look at our draft recap. Ends up, being a pretty stellar draft, all things considered. Get some depth into day 3. Royer at tight end out of Cincinnati. The Ohio State transfers a 70 overall, so there's some good depth there. Brailsford, 71 with the dev trait. Kilgore, again, we don't necessarily need a safety, but I think for how versatile he is, he's a DB. So he's going to be able to wear a lot of different hats on the defensive side of the ball. 73 with a dev trait, so a lot of upside there. And with the top 5 pick, Ruben Bain, 75 overall. Again, more versatility. We'll find a way to get him on the field as a rookie. But ultimately, very happy with this class. And, hey, if you're going to be just randomly kind of shit, and 6-11 is very disappointing for the state of this Chargers roster to finish the year as, at least we're able to kind of, get some benefit out of that and add some players that, if we were probably more in line with where the Chargers should be, we'd have no chance in hell at getting Bain, Kilgore, and Brailsford. It's easy into year number 2. We're 3-2 after the early bye week, which is not really a fair judgment to get a true read on the season, but at least we're not 2-3. We're above 500, and if we can remain above 500 to close this year, we're going to have a very happy ending. When all is said and done, we have $157 million of salary cap, so we can be very giving. We're going to wait and obviously see on Khalil Mack if he is going to return or not. We have Quentin Johnson, who I think absolutely is worth, at that price point, around $5 million a year to continue his development. His ceiling's probably mid-80s. For Derwin James, I think he is a player that we just accept the regression and understand that we need him out here. He needs to retire as a Charger. You get Mekhi Becton. Let's land him on a 3-year, $30 million deal. We got Tui Pelotu. Get him on a 5-year, 121. Very productive last year. Got robbed. Should honestly be a superstar dev and maybe be more expensive than $121 million. And then we have Henley, who got a superstar dev trait last season. That's probably like my least favorite contract to give out right now are middle linebackers, but good middle linebackers are hard to find. He's a scheme fit. He's one of Harbaugh's guys. Let's keep him in the building. And then view number 2, more in line with where I think the Chargers should be, and probably most of you guys watching think they should be. 10-7 in year 2. We win 3 of our last 4, including nice quality wins over the Niners and a huge sim win over the Chiefs. We already had the playoffs locked. That Chiefs was just kind of, a little bit of a boost. But look at that. Top 10 offense, number 2 rushing offense, top 10 defense, number 1 passing defense allowed. Omarion Hampton had the most rushing yards in the NFL. We have 4,300 yards, 36 touchdowns, to 18 picks for Herbert. So let's cut down those picks a little bit. Hampton, 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns. Real nice. Ladd McConkey continues to be an absolute cheat code. Maybe we've been on a good streak, a heater of having multiple 1,000-yard receivers. So when it doesn't happen and it's not automatic, maybe it makes you appreciate when we get that 1,000 a little bit more. But I mean, Gadsden, Johnson, and Harris, all sub-80 overall players, having respectable seasons. And we're more of a run-first team with Ladd McConkey in the slot. Like, we're old school. Defensively, Henley is a tackle machine. We get 14 sacks from the ageless wonder Khalil Mack, 11.5 sacks from Tui Pelotu, 73 tackles, 13 TFLs, 7 sacks from our first-round pick. The number 5 overall pick, Ruben Bain, which I'm fairly happy with that number as well. And on the picks front, Tarheeb still leads the team with 5, but we definitely need to get more support there in the picks department. Kilgore, other highly regarded pick, 97 tackles, 2 TFLs, 1 pick, had 17 PBUs, making plays all over the field. We come to you with a very humble Chargers team, no award winners. We are a very team-first oriented squad right now. And we got a very tough opponent in the first round of our first playoff appearance against the 11-6, and it's over. It's Buffalo Bills. Dude. Look at the ratings. Look at all the green. And we lose 21-14, a 1-score game. And we are year, 7 of Justin Herbert, where he's played dog shit in every big game this guy's ever fucking been in. Pardon my French. God damn it. Just in case he retires, fringe Hall of Fame numbers for Khalil Mack. Just under 800 total tackles, 168 TFLs, 134 career sacks. He's probably right on the line. So as we end the season, as far as dev traits are concerned, we gained the superstar dev on Omarion Hampton. He is, and it feels like, on the cusp of becoming maybe the best running back in the league, or at least entering the discussion. Parker Brailsford, our rookie out of Alabama, the center, was hitting dev. He is a star. I thought Gadsden might have had a chance to get off that normal dev, but I think if he repeats, gets another like 800 yards, 5-6 touchdowns, we could have that discussion next year. Defensively, well, Ruben Bain is a star. Tui Pelotu just will not go up dev trait. Colson's had some big production, not going up dev trait. Kilgore was hitting dev rookie, just a star dev. And we're kind of in a holding pattern on the defensive side of the ball until we figure out whether or not Khalil Mack is retiring or not. But I mean, I'd be cool with him returning, honestly. Damn, hangs it up after 13 years. Ooh, so with that, we're going to move Ruben Bain to these more natural outside linebacker, but he falls from an 80 overall down to a 77 with this position switch. Start the offseason by declining the 5th-year option to Joe Alt. We're probably going to talk to you again probably week 3 of next year to get ahead of this contract extension because the price is only going to continue to go up, and I wouldn't be surprised if it takes us probably around $150 million to get him locked in. Going into free agency, we're once again only looking for guys that can improve our front 3. Will they exist in free agency? The answer is Keon White, kind of. God damn it, man. Or Joma down there, a lot better than that. We're gonna wait another year. He's gonna probably feature a lot for the Eagles, and his Madden rating will jump up. But I mean, that's where we're gonna go for the draft. I think target that front 3. Luckily, on the D line is where I focus scouted a lot of our players, but we're gonna have to consider guys that are, fringe first rounders because we're picking in the playoff spots here, so we don't got a lot of help. You got like McKinley, 6'6", 295, great scheme fit. James Smith from Alabama, sure. Justin Scott from Miami, we've used him in rebuilds before. I mean, I guess Atkinson, the North Carolina transfer, 6'6", 270 is fringe. Same with Winieri at 6'7", 260. Like, those guys could plausibly play in a front three, but just not a great role. And I mean, I don't think we just, we're not going to be able to draft Colin Simmons, and all these guys here are off-ball linebackers. I mean, just not sick drafts by any means. Guess we'll go Cameron James. But back-to-back years where there's just not that. I mean, I thought maybe Ruben Bain would be better than a start at. We just haven't had that dominant player available to us. Take a little peek here at the final mock draft. Who are we expected to get? So McKinley will probably be our best fit. He's going 11th. We are, oh man. So we're projected to get Seaton at tackle, one of the few positions that we are absolutely good with. LJ McCray could be available at 22, 6'6", 265. So again, like a tweener for that front three, but if that ends up being best player available, you got Fountain from USC, 6'6", 261. I mean, if this is how it goes, we'll go McCray from the Gators. All right, we need to remember. Ooh, actually got a good roll. McKinley is still on the board. Justin Herbert keeps playing like dog shit in the big moments. We have a quarterback option in DJ Lagway. There's a bunch of QBs in the consideration for a first rounder this year. Mendoza, Nico, and there will eventually need to be a DJ Lagway featured rebuild. Wide receiver, not much there. I mean, is that what we're missing? Are we missing another game changer? Like, I feel decent about our wide receiver room. Trey Harris is an 80. Quentin Johnson's role player. Ladd McConkey's, a 90-plus X factor. And we run the football a lot. But, are we missing another X factor wide receiver that doesn't exist right now, but just throwing out, a potential, is that the missing piece? Is that why we're struggling a little bit? On the defensive side, we do have LJ McCray. I think that's where we go. I think we trust the scouting here that he's a legit first rounder. Go Gators. 18th in true value at 19. With a dev trade and 87 strength, so more than enough power to kind of play slightly out of position. I think we followed up with a player that we've used before in Justin Scott. A power, B block set, B tackle, and just kind of commit to the D-line, and there is not value there. But is there a dev trait? There we go. That is good enough, and he will start right away and hopefully hit the ground running with his development. Taking a look at our draft recap, end up with a fairly stellar class. Not a lot of weaknesses. We got 70 overall safety in the 4th round, Marcus Ratcliffe from A&M. We got Jaden Greathouse, who's had some pretty big games for Notre Dame over the last couple of years. Justin Scott, hidden dev D tackle, 70 overall, and McCray with a 75 dev trait. Is this going to be enough for Justin Herbert not to sabotage a playoff run? I hope so. All right, so we're down to year 3 of what has been a very confusing rebuild. We've had teams underperform in the past, but the fact that this team's gone 6-11, 10-7, no playoff wins when they're, pretty much a playoff caliber team starting this rebuild. Usually we don't struggle this much. What is the missing piece? Is the missing piece? We got 2 new young high ceiling players on that front 3. I'm hoping that there's going to be a breakout for Ruben Bain. I'm hoping that Kilgore continues to crush it as a starter and potential successor to Derwin James. But, I don't know, man. It just feels like this team's lacking juice. This team needs to be dominant. And outside of Ladd McConkey, who's just kind of dominating the slot, which is not overly difficult to do, even though the rate that he's doing it is very impressive. Yeah, I mean, how do we get you to play like a game changer? How do we get you to not suck in the playoffs? Now that's a hot start. We beat the Bengals and the Chiefs. Both games grindy, not dominating. 16-13, 20-13. But 2 very difficult sim wins, so that's promising. Looking at our contracts here, this is probably going to be the most expensive window of the rebuild as we get Ladd McConkey locked in. We have Joe Alt. I think we go up to like maybe 143. I was say 145 to be on my cap. $143 million for Joe Alt. We have Steele at corner on 70. We could probably replace Gilman. That's not affordable at all. Like, we're waiting on Junior Colson to kind of break out here a little bit. And there's nothing breakout about paying him almost $10 million a year. But he's a good player. I like the storyline with Harbaugh. So we're kind of stuck between... I mean, we can't let everybody walk. I think the last guy that'd be interested to see is Abogby, because he is starting this year. So he'd be a guy that I'd... What's it looking at right now? $3 million bucks. How's he? I mean, it's only been 2 games. He getting after it in those 2 games? 2 TFLs, no sacks. So he's probably gonna be replaceable. We're 4-0. We beat the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Chiefs. So a huge portion of the gauntlet of our schedule, including the last 2 games, have been. Are we figuring it out a little bit? Maybe. We're off on an incredibly hot start, 9-2. Got a dominating shutout win over the Raiders, and that is why, in performances like this, is why, even though there's no dev trait, you had to pay the price to keep Colson in the building. 5 tackles, a sack, couple turnovers in the fumbles department. Huge game. We were 10-2. We finished 10-7. We lost 5 games in a row. We have the 32nd ranked passing offense. So I am absolutely, at this point, we're year 3 going into year 4. It is time to cut ties with our offensive coordinator. Defensively, they played good. They played consistent this whole deal. Harbaugh, I personally kind of, associate him more, like, obviously the quarterback background, but it's not his offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, is Greg Roman, is that who it is? Really his offense? So I can tell you right now, even though we have quarterback guru, we are almost, unless we go on like a Cinderella playoff run, this offense is ruining Justin Herbert, not letting him shine, which is unacceptable. So, yeah, 17 touchdowns, that is insane. Good year from Hampton. Lad killed it. No one else really. I mean, again, such a limited passing offense. There's not really much room for anybody else to eat. Defensively, I love seeing that. Ruben Bain with 13 sacks on 10 TFLs, 10.5 for Tui Pelotu, 9.5. Kyle Kennard's getting on the field somehow. 7 sacks from the rookie LJ McCray on 16 TFLs. Scott, the other rookie, with 18 TFLs, 69 tackles, so great against the run. Our interception numbers are as good as they've been at any point in this rebuild, so the defense got no worries. Offensively, the U-Haul's already been called to Greg Roman's house. We get the Buffalo Bills in the first round of the playoffs. Apologies, it's been 3 days since I last recorded. I think we lost to the Bills last year. Oh, it's, hey, come on. Everyone's coaching for the job offensively. And actually, it's not the offense's fault. We got into a shootout with the Bills. It was our defense. Derwin James, 12 tackles, a pick 6, gets defensive player of the week. Not too often in the playoffs. If you give up 35 points, will you have a player getting a defensive player of the week nod? But again, you know what? This is just the perfect summary of our offense. It's like, when we do, thanks for showing out when our defense gave us no chance. Like, this was the perfect opportunity for the offense to be like, you know what? I know we don't score a lot of points, but in the rare time that our number 2 defense plays like the number 32 defense, we're going to have one opportunity to put up 40 points and shockingly get us a win. And unfortunately, the offense was like, actually, we're just going to give you a little bit of, juice, better juice than we saw in the regular season, but still not enough juice to get a playoff win. So with this one, it ends a very disappointing year 3. Back-to-back seasons where we are one and done in the playoffs. And the hunt begins for a new offensive coordinator here in LA. For our team, absolutely shocked we did not lose the superstar dev on Mr. Justin Hebert. 17 touchdowns. Probably should be enough to, kind of snip the superstar there. But Luckily, we got a generous roll, and we had Omarion Hampton, who is kind of the big hyped rookie entering camp, 3 years in for the Chargers, and he is now a superstar X Factor, which, as a card-carrying member of the Omarion Hampton fan club, there were some that, all right, some people don't think he was worth a first-round pick. Kind of cool seeing him crush it. You know, I'm looking at this offense. Like, where do we get better? Clearly, the number one spot is offensive coordinator. Secondly, though, you might look at tight end. Gadsden, he's not really popping off, not getting the dev traits in there, but he had 100 yards in the playoff. I feel like that's been serviceable enough. I don't really see much wrong with this offense. We're 3 deep at wide receiver. We have our game changers. Our O-line is outstanding. We probably have the best offensive line in the AFC right now. It's just the coordinator has been so bad. Defensively, both McCray and Scott are on star dev. We got no other dev traits going up or down that I can see. We lost the star on Ben St. Juste, but we're going to let him in free agency. Actually, it's Jalen Kilgore, the versatile DB who has actually, you know, he's kind of been playing a little bit in nickel corner for us. He's going to move to the starting free safety job this offseason, and that's, well, very random that a 23-year-old is getting hit with -1 to his speed, pursuit, and acceleration, but if that's the cost to get a superstar dev trait, I'll gladly pay that. Okay, let's take a look for some offensive coordinators. We have Dave Canales, who'd come with the Carolina Panthers. You got Indy, got Atlanta, got the Rams, San Francisco, Washington. Now there's Kansas City. Do we dare? I almost feel like that's going to just make it so predictable. We got. I actually kind of haven't liked the Titans. Maybe that's a little less cheesy. We like Seattle. We got Philadelphia. We don't really have the dual threat quarterback. Liam Cohen. Tampa Bay. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look right now. Tampa Bay, Tennessee, and LA Rams. Tampa Bay, Tennessee, Rams. How are these offenses playing? Cam Ward was not great. The run game under 1,000 yards, so we definitely don't like Tennessee in this scenario. What about the Rams? 35 touchdowns. They got Anthony Richardson going for 5,400 yards. 1,000-yard rusher, 3,000-yard receivers. Okay, Rams, duly noted. The Bucks are the other offense we could look at. Okay, we are going with the Rams. Congratulations, Nate Shielhaas. You successfully redeemed Anthony Richardson. It is your turn now to make Justin Herbert good. Play to his stats. That's all you got to do. We're going to decline the 5th-year option on Omarion Hampton and pay him a bag next year. He has been the most consistent player of this rebuild, him and Ladd McConkey. Worth it. Free agency, wasn't planning on spending much money, if any. It was a great nose tackle. Tavondre Sweat, great scheme fit, 6'5", 366. But in what world is a nose tackle commanding almost $25 million a year? Come on. Take a look at the final mock draft of the 2028 class, which is our final class of real players. How did Kansas City play bad enough to get the 1 pick? Well, we got Terry Bussey at wide receiver. He looks pretty decent. For us, I focus scouted corners. Dion Lee, 6'4" Alabama corner with a first-round talent's got to be long gone. DJ Pickett at LSU. May call the Dolphins. DJ Pickett still be on the board. B-man, B-press, C-zone. Now we're a zone defense. But I'm thinking about it. He's still on the board at 18. That shouldn't cost an arm and a leg to jump up a couple spots. Well, it ended up costing me a 3rd and a 5th round this year, and I'm not going to say only those are decent picks, but to jump up 3 spots in the draft to grab a good-looking corner, which is a big position to need because Kilgore's kind of been playing corners, now moving back to starting free safety. We have a position open. Considering the other scouting of the other corners that look kind of decent, especially the only zone corner here, DeMello Jones out of Georgia, DJ Pickett, the former 5-star recruit, elite speed. Yep, that's just, you know, it's always a little faux pas. Next year's draft class, we're in the Madden-generated classes, and if you've played Madden 25, you know corners kind of grow on trees, but I ain't mad at this one. DJ Pickett, Stud. Not gonna lie. Kind of could use 2 corners. Offered still here. First, second round projection. Third, fourth round talent. But letter grades look good. Combine is not bad. It's also not great. But, interesting. For our last of our investment, we're going to go with Florida international legend Keon Keeley. We landed in the transfer portal in our college football 25 dynasty. So take a look at our draft recap. Offered, who was maybe a little bit of a reach, kind of chased the depth trait there a little bit. Still a 70 overall. That in the second round is not too bad. Keeley, 69. We had a couple depth pieces on the offense here, but the big get, DJ Pickett, trading up and getting a 75 depth trait corner. I love it. Love to see it. As we go into our bye week, the offensive changes seem to have definitely yielded improvement on pass yards per game. I believe we finished last year as like the number 11 offense. Our rush offense was very good. But at this point in time, with how our roster is constructed, we just need Justin Herbert can't suck. He has to be, at worst, the second best player on our offense next to Omarion Hampton. But he needs to be the best. And I think we've at least made some progress in that department. Looking at the contract where you get Omarion Hampton on a 4-year deal, lock him up for the remainder of his prime. We have Najee Harris at wide receiver. This is reasonable for a guy that I think, as our passing offense has evolved, I think he absolutely has the ceiling of a wide receiver too, who's capable of a 1,000-yard season. We have Kennard, who's just, man, he is just, for whatever reason, bizarrely a part of our pass rush rotation. I don't know how. Couldn't figure it out, but I do think I want to try to bring him back. We have Gadsden. That's a reasonable contract for the next 2 seasons. I think we come back on Kennard, get him locked in. I think everybody else, best of luck to you. We were just smashing, guys. We found the missing combo, the missing piece. We are 13-3, 3-game win streak right now. We just got a player of the week from who? Oh, our first round pick, DJ Pickett. 2 picks, one of them being a pick 6. For the year 4, we go 14-3, which is maybe surprisingly not good enough to get the 1 seed. But we do win the AFC West for the first time in this rebuild. Long 4 years, AFC West with Kansas City in the division is probably the toughest sim division to win. But there is 3 14-3 teams in the AFC along with the Browns and the Ravens. So a very competitive top end of the AFC. But look at the changes offensively. The defense still plays at a high level. And if you can take something away from this video, if you're thinking about playing with the Chargers, that defense is worth investing. The coordinator, the scheme. However, offensively, day and night with what we've had through the first 3 years. Now, this is always a pivotal moment. It's something I never have a problem doing because this is a realistic rebuild at its core. And realistically, if you go through 3 years with the Chargers offense, with Greg Roman offense, and you underperform that many times, you throw up and piss all over yourselves that many times in the first round of the playoffs, 2 straight years, realistically, someone's getting fired. So how do you handle that in a rebuild where you know when you can change an offense up, there can be drastic day and night short turnarounds like what we just seen? I think the fairest way to do it is, what we do is we fire and we hire with what's available. I don't manually make it so that, an overpowered offense coordinator is available. I didn't necessarily think it was a lock that this Rams thing was going to work out, because a lot of times the Rams are the Rams. Rams have had one of the weirder offenses, sim offenses. I've seen Cooper Kupp literally put up like 3,000 yards in a season. That clearly didn't happen here, but in the situation, in the context of a realistic rebuild, we are trying to get the most out of Justin Herbert, and we just hired away the offensive, or whoever, from the quarterback coach of the Rams, who are able to re-emerge and redevelop the career of Anthony Richardson when we were looking through last year's passing numbers. So I get it, but also, look at the number. They're still not even crazy. It was like 5,000 yards for Anthony Richardson. We just had progress. 26 touchdowns, 10 picks, 4,400 yards for Justin Herbert. Our run game still is the focal point of this offense. 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns. We had 2,000-yard receivers with Lad McConkey having an insane season, 109 catches, 1,500 yards, 9 tuds. And on the defensive side of the ball, we got 17.5 sacks for Ruben Bain, 13.5 for Tui Pelotu, 15 TFLs, 7 sacks from LJ McCray. Justin Scott had a decent campaign, 7 picks for the rookie, DJ Pickett at an LSU, alongside with 13 PBUs and 88 tackles. That is insane production and well justifies the aggressive trade-up that we made to go select him. 5 picks for Derwin James and still as well. Hell yeah. Great numbers. Great production. I mean, we still didn't get that Anthony Richardson bump to Justin Herbert, but for whatever it's worth, Herbert has played himself onto the MVP shortlist. Coach of the Year goes to Jim Harbaugh for making the informed decision that things need to change for an offensive coordinator. We have DJ Pickett, who won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Omarion Hampton won Running Back of the Year. DJ Pickett, as a rookie, gets DB of the Year, and Dicker the Kicker is Kicker of the Year. We got the offense humming. The growth and development of rosters in a great spot. Now it's, year 4 looking for our first playoff win. And what do we get finally having a good year? Oh, it's just the Chiefs in the first round. I mean, this is a Chiefs team that had the first overall pick last year. Worst to first? I don't think so. Hell yeah, 34-24, a sim win with a Omarion Hampton saying, I don't care. Kansas City Chiefs, my ass. I'll get you almost 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hop on my back. I'll carry us through this playoffs. An outstanding win. We get the Jags next, who we beat in the regular season pretty convincingly. Justin Herbert, again, why? Anthony Richardson can, in this offense, dominate. Why are you still not good? Hampton killing it. Love seeing that. Defensively, Pickett, the rookie, 16 tackles and a pick in his first playoff game. We got 4 sacks from the D-tackle, Justin Scott. Offense, defense, I mean, hey, the run game and the defense, we're playing old school football. We get the 98 Jags in the divisional round, and I'm, from here on out, just worried, very worried, that if Justin Herbert just plays meh like he has every single time, oh, dude, come on. At least at silver lining right here. Justin Herbert, 3 touchdowns, no picks. 4 touchdowns. Why? Why are you the way that you are? Hampton killed it. Top 2 receivers did their part. Defense that showed up obviously did not. If you're giving up 42 points and a perfect 3 touchdown, no pick, only 1 sack on Trevor Lawrence. But man, if we didn't, I'm not gonna, if it's not looking like we're gonna get this Super Bowl win within the first 5 years, do we need to consider an elephant in the room type problem? After crashing and burning the playoffs, take a look at our depth traits as we clear out our lockers for the offseason. Offensively, wasn't expecting any depth traits up or down. That's kind of, everyone maintaining the status quo, but this is a very impressive offense. Still played good. All of our rankings were top 10. Points, passing yards, rushing yards. It's just the passing touchdowns and Justin Herbert not playing great in the playoffs. That's a tricky puzzle to solve. Defensively, as far as dev traits are concerned, we gained a star dev finally on Junior Colson. We lose the dev trait on Derwin James, but that was expected when we gave him his contract extension to ensure he retires a Charger. Regression was hitting, and now he's down to an 85 star. Tarheeb still, however, makes the jump from star up to superstar, and maybe the best young corner in the NFL. DJ Pickett, winning DB of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year, is a superstar dev. Sky's the limit. You know what? I'm going to reward him. I'm going to put the C on his chest. That's how damn good he is. Now for contracts. We're going to decline the 5th-year option on Ruben Bain. I can't even imagine. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. If it ends up next year being the year that we might have to move off Justin Herbert, I think I know where, if we can get rid of that contract, that money can go to our best pass rusher by a mile. As we go to the draft, getting an idea where we need to go contract-wise. Well, on the offensive line, Mekhi Becton entering a contract year. Is he going to get a new extension? Don't know. So if there's a guard that pops up, that could be interesting. Gadsden is just not developed. He's solid, but tight end is kind of like, if there's someone there, that could also be interesting. Defensively, plug-and-play starters still looking for a complete front three, so a 3-4 defensive end is certainly up there. Maybe a Derwin James successor, some depth at safety, a corner. I love our corners. We have 2 elite corners. We can get by without getting one, but technically a third corner would complete the room, so we have our options. Our first big need is actually finding a starter for our front three. Got 2 players, really 3 that could fit the bill. We have Willie Webster, who I didn't scout, but he has a power move. And when you look at the combine, it's pretty good across the board, literally. So that looks interesting. I scouted Dalvin Griggs out of Utah. Was A tackle, B power, B finesse, C block shed. Combine, likewise, honestly just a little bit better. And this is also one of those years where you actually get 3-4 defensive ends as draftable players. And I went Van Buren just because I thought there was a more likely chance that he'd be there in the second round if we didn't want to go DE. In the first, we have Eric Walker, who has elite strength. Nothing else overly impressive. And we have Morris Van Buren, who we scouted B power move, A tackle, B block shed with elite strength as well. 4.8 speed. 4.87348. 4.87348. How does that relate to Griggs here? Again, he's a little bit more athletic. And but the thing is, like, at 63, is this guy going to be available in the second round? Is this the best value pick? Best bang for our buck? Or do we say screw it and we look at Van Buren, who's bigger? 6'3", they're about the same size, 317. I think we go Van Buren. I think we go the actual player at the position. 23 in true value at 27, and we get the dev trait. Let's go. It's such a log jam with guards available that I think there's going to be a very strong likelihood that an acceptable guard will be available in the third round. So here in the second round, I have Stephen Elam. Oh, Stephen. With A catching traffic, B catching, B deep out running at 6'5", almost 260. Combine, goods and greats, second in the 40-yard dash, top 5 in 3-cone, and 20-yard shuttle. Usually a winning combination. 63rd in true value at 59. But we roll a dev trait, which almost instantly gives him a higher ceiling than Gadsden. Let's have a little bit of fun here. Guards grow on trees, but can we pick out the right one? This one has F run block, but A pass block. And I think at a time like this, I'm going to be looking for a guard that has a lot of bench press. Good athletes, a lot of bench press. We got Mackey, double C's. Of course, he has the best combine, 39 reps on the bench press. I don't know, not too often you see a guard, an interior lineman, with almost 40 bomb. Lidge has A pass block, 33 reps, so he's probably the best looking so far from having that A and having the combine to go with it. Justin Lowry, A pass block, B impact block. He's a little bit better, around the fastest 40. So let's go with the athlete, 95 at 91. There's our dev trait. All things considered, take a look at our draft recap. The big three end up being, the big three get some decent depth here on day 3. But we needed Lowry at guard. This is more of a, depends how much Mekhi Becton wants for a contract extension. We have a guard in place. We have Elam because our tight end room has had limited ceiling. And we finally roll a dev trait here with a second rounder out of Florida. And then in the first round, as we can finally say, we have a complete front 7. Van Buren is a 74 dev trait. It's going to be a day 1 starter. Here we go, baby. Year 5. This is the traditional end point where you really want to be winning your Super Bowl. I can totally believe this team winning a Super Bowl. We went 14-3 last year. We're tied for the 1 seed. We won the division, but we are 4 years in, and we are 1-3 in the playoffs. Our team is stacked. I would say on paper we're going to have the best team in the league. 90 overall, 92 overall offense. But Justin Herbert's started to have regression. So he's already lost 1 point off his base overall. I think you look around the rest of it, like Becton's at his ceiling. He's probably going to start going down. Zion Johnson's at his ceiling. He's only going to start going down. Same with Rashawn Slater. Like, this offense is nearing the end of the prime for a lot of the big hitters. Defensively, it's a little different. We kind of have, Derwin James and Henley's getting out there a little bit. But rest, I still think we have probably a couple more good years of the defense only continuing to ascend. But it's been the offense that when we started this rebuild, that was ready to go. And we had to get the defense right. We got the defense right, and the offense now, because we've had so little success through 4 years, they're all starting, like, again, I think we're at a spot. Herbert's contract's up this year. So we have to make a, I don't even want to think about it. Because, even though he's underwhelmed, he was still on the MVP shortlist last year when all was said and done. But contract is coming up, and kind of feels like we've hit our ceiling with Justin Herbert as our quarterback. I'd love to be wrong. Let's follow up last year's 14-3 division-winning team. Let's run it back again. I bet you 14-3 this year gets us the 1 seed in that first-round bye, so we don't have to worry about running the gauntlet if and when we make the playoffs. I'll just say, you want vibes are high, you beat the Chiefs in the sim early and often. That is going to spark a great season, and I think a lot of matchups are going to be like this, where we are 5 to 6 to 7 overall points better than our opponents in most of the games this year. We're out of the blocks early with a 4-1 start. We beat the Chiefs, we beat the Bills, we've just beat the Eagles, so a lot of teams that are tricky to beat, regardless of how good you are, we've been able to get those dubs. So that's awesome, but this year is going to be like the most pivotal point in this rebuild. We're going to get Kilgore locked into a 4-year deal, $73 million. What a get it was getting him in the second round. We have Ruben Bain, who has been our entire pass rush. He's honestly 256. He declines, probably 260. If you get this response, it means you're probably a little far off. We'll get that done. He's absolutely earned a mega contract extension. You know who hasn't? Is this man, Mr. Justin Herbert. But because I think we probably end up paying him, I'm going to have to wait and see for Brailsford starting at center. We have Mekhi Becton, who luckily we're able to draft a guard. Same goes for, as you just go down the line here, Derwin James, $12 million a year. That ain't going to be cheap. So this is a very tight budget that we're now working with. We have to get Bain signed and see where Justin Herbert's at. Because, that number, even if he plays well, is not going to go up, I don't think, a whole lot more. $270 million is what it takes to get Ruben Bain to sign. That's what happens when you flirt with almost 20 sacks every year. So at our bye, stats are slightly inflated just because this bye week's going to kind of adjust the averages. But as it stands, I think feel like I should pay Justin Herbert. But also, at this point in the rebuild, we might as well wait to the end of the playoff run. See how far he gets us. Maybe not having that contract extension, something in the sim makes him play better. The bad news is we go 11-6 and we don't win the division. The good kind of smart decision, which I want to show you guys quickly, is we decide, hey, maybe let's not pay Justin Herbert. Maybe a guy, because how many times have you had players when almost you decide you can't re-sign them, they have their best season? You go, oh, of course. How many times I can count at least once every other rebuild. There'll be a player where it's like, should I not? And then they have a breakout because I didn't pay him. Justin Herbert has his most passing yards, freaking double, it feels like, the amount of touchdowns he's been getting throughout this rebuild. 11 picks, 67% completion percentage. That's what we need to see. We needed to play with his bread a little bit to get him to pick it up. We got 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns from Hampton, who's been an absolute beast. What a pick. We have Ladd McConkey, 120 catches, 1,600 yards, 24 touchdowns, flirting with Randy Moss's single-season record. We got 1,100 yards from Quentin Johnson, 9 and 6 from Trey Harris. Gadsden was serviceable. On the defensive side of the ball, we got 13.5 sacks, Tui Pelotu, 11.5 LJ McCray. Of course, as soon as I gave Ruben Bain $250,000, he decides, actually, I'm going to have my worst year. But still not brutal with 17 TFLs, 8 sacks on 84 tackles, 7 sacks from Justin Scott. We got 5 picks. DJ Pickett, who's been incredible. Henley with 4, 3 for Kilgore, 3 from Still. Probably our best interception numbers of the rebuild. Also, huge PB. DJ Pickett, if you're using these classes, and if you're using the Ultimate Rookie mod, these are the classes. Get yourself a DJ Pickett. Justin Herbert ends up runner-up for league MVP. We end up with Ladd McConkey winning Offensive Player of the Year and Wide Receiver of the Year. Omarion Hampton gets a second straight Running Back of the Year. And we have Tui Pelotu winning Linebacker of the Year. I just really like in this scenario, the Kansas City Chiefs are not making the playoffs. So for an AFC rebuild, the fact that, obviously we haven't gone on a lot of big playoff runs, but like KC's not been the juggernaut that they so usually are. We got the Browns, we got the Jets, we got the Broncos, Ravens, Titans. It's been nice. So in the first round against the Denver Broncos, boot to ass with some belt thrown in there, 33-10. Justin Herbert's figured it out, maybe. Don't want to just say I jinxed it. 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Only got sacked once. Lad McConkey over 100 yards with a touchdown. Defensively, Justin Scott with the sack and 2 picks for Henley. And who else but DJ Pickett? Now with that win, we get the Cincinnati Bengals, who, looking at the AFC side, I don't know. I don't want to say that they're more annoying than the Ravens, who can be annoying. But, I mean, we know firsthand experience how cheesy a Bengals offense can be. And taking a look at their stats, this is the number 1 offense against the number 2 offense. But 31.5 points for our Chargers team this year is very impressive. Like, that is, anytime you're over 30, that's a big, big time number. The Bengals also have the number 1 passing offense. Taking a look, Joe Burrow, 4,800 yards, 45 touchdowns. So they are vibing on all cylinders. Look how good Shamar Stewart is there. Absolute meme scenes going on with the Bengals in real life and training camp with that rookie. But I think, look at this. Look at the tail of tape. Huge advantage. We are a balanced attack. We might not throw it. They might throw it for 20 more yards than us. But we run it for like almost double what they can run, led by Omarion Hampton. Our defense is much more stout. And on paper, we are 6 overall points better than the Cincinnati Bengals. These games, unfortunately, are not played on paper. But I feel like as long we've hacked the system, I think not paying Justin Herbert has enacted something under the hood to get him to be like, I'm going to play to where you're going to pay me. Because we just dropped almost 50 points. Justin Herbert at no point has won Offensive Player of the Week in this rebuild until now. In the playoffs, divisional round against the 1 seed on the road, he throws 261, 4 touchdowns. DJ Pickett continue. I'll get the webcam. Get my stupid head out of the way here. Look at that. 2 picks. What a pick 6. He is the GOAT DB that we've drafted so far. I don't want to say we got a great roll because we don't have to play the Ravens, but with the Jets dropping 40 on the Ravens, I'm a little concerned. But look at that. We did our own 40 bomb. 49-35. Justin Herbert was outstanding. Joe Burrow was not. 3 touchdowns, 3 picks forced on the quarterback there. 72 and a tutty for Hampton. Gadsden, who we kind of tried to replace, goes over 100 yards. Get another 2 touchdowns from Hampton. What a beast. Defensively, Henley was a tackle machine. Tui Pelotu gets a sack. 2 picks Pickett. 1 from Still. And offense, defense, firing on all cylinders for this playoff run for the Chargers. I'm going to be honest, man. Like, look at our team. This team is stacked. This is one of our best rebuild teams on paper. 92, 93, 92. We are so much better than all of our opponents. And truth be told, like, our playbooks are pretty good. Our defense has been good the entire time. And we've figured out the offense. Looking at the Jets, they run the football very well. Okay, they got Arch Manning under center, but he only threw for 20 touchdowns this year. They have the number 1 defense in the league, but not drastically better than us. But, I mean, this, I guess, could annoyingly be a game where we put up 33 and 49, and if we end up only scoring like 10, it would be like, well, you're going up against the number 1 defense. So we'll do our best here. We'll make sure we have our best team out there on the field. We got Pickett and Gadsden, but look at Pickett. I've been trying to make him a zone. I probably should have just put the point in the base because I would have brought him to a 90 overall. But, I mean, my God. Respect needs to be shown. There's a couple big DBs that we could feature in rebuild. Zach Sanchez from Ohio State, the 5-star. But pace has been set with DJ Pickett winning. You know, he's pretty much Sauce Gardner. Winning Defensive Player of the Year as a corner. DB of the Year as a rookie. And then he follows up like, oh, I'm just going to get 5 picks again and be like one of the best shutdown guys. So we're good to see. Best on best here in this matchup. Going up against Sauce Gardner on the road. Can we make it 3 road wins to a Super Bowl? Or do we crash and burn? But I think we can all agree at this point, before I might rage if we do lose, and not get this rebuild done within 5 years, which is always our goal. It's not the end of the world. That we will bring back Justin Herbert. Financially, I can easily bring him. Well, I don't want to say easily, because we bring him back, I'm probably not going to be able to pay anybody else. But I think I've seen enough out of this Justin Herbert that hopefully we just if and when we pay him, he doesn't go back to the quarterback we saw the last couple of years. But I am firmly in the camp that him not having a contract is why he's playing good. And we won. 1 point. Low scoring, ugly games on both sides of the bracket, but 1 point to the good guys. Let's go. The defense shut up shop, only giving up 3 points in the second half. Justin Herbert, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Arch Manning didn't do anything. Let's go. Run game was meh. Justin Herbert did have a fumble loss. Johnson and Ladd McConkey getting on the end zone. 2 sacks from LJ McCray. Justin Scott, who got our pick. I was kind of hoping it was DJ Pickett, but Tyre Heap still another great success story. What a find by the Chargers IRL, and we've been able to develop him into a superstar corner. And here in year 5, we have a chance to follow the script and get this Super Bowl win. I was curious before this Super Bowl, dev traits. A lot of guys had good years. Elam, our hidden dev tight end, just a star. But the most important position is Justin Herbert, who is win, lose, or draw. Well, obviously, if we win, we're done. But if you lose, we're going to pay him. Is an X Factor. And I don't know if the dev trait going from superstar to X Factor is going to add any to his contract extension. He was looking for, like, what, just under $200 million. I don't think the dev trait's going to affect that too much. But, I mean, he earned it. He's been absolutely everything we need him to be this whole season. I don't know why it took 5 years. Don't know why with the offensive coordinator change last year we didn't see more progress in this direction. But I ain't going to complain. Beggars can't be choosers, and we've been begging for him to play good. Defensively, for dev traits, front 3 all-star. Henley makes a jump from superstar up to X Factor. Kilgore makes a jump from superstar up to X Factor. And the best corner we've ever drafted, DJ Pickett, makes the jump from superstar up to an X Factor. So on paper, this LA Chargers team is juiced to the gills. We have, for this Super Bowl, a new X Factor quarterback, maxing out our 3 X Factors on the offensive side of the ball. We have 2 new X Factors at DB, one wearing the green dot and controlling the defense, maxing out our 3 available X Factors on defense. We have a quarterback that is playing for a generational wealth, more generational wealth. He has no guaranteed money. He once said guaranteed money, and he will get it if he wins a Super Bowl. Perfect storm. Let's go look here at the tail of the tape. We got the 10-7 Giants, who are an 87 overall. Still quite a gulf between them and us, base overall and offense, but credit where credit's due. They have a 91 overall defense, which is very good. They're solid, like kind of a top 10, outside the top 10 for points and passing yards. Run defense is top 10. Sexy Dexy, Abdul Carter. Kind of want to get a look. Anytime a team that we're going up against has a 90-plus somewhere, I'm always just a little bit interested. So at a quarterback, they still have Jackson Dart. Oh, do they have the modded Jackson Dart facing this? Look at that, baby. Showing off the ultimate rookie mod. Get your hands on it. But I want to see this 91 defense. So they got Fisk, stole him away from the Rams. Van Ness stole him away from the Packers. How about we build our own defense? Just sign it away in free agency. So they got Sexy Dexy, 97 X Factor. Thibodeau's still there. McFadden, Abdul Carter, Brian Burns. So I imagine they're both getting on the field. Drew Phillips. Adebo's a superstar now. Ben Morrison, got him in the draft. Javon Holland. Nubin. So some homegrown guys there in the secondary. That's a good defense. It's not better than our defense, but it's, you know, anytime someone has like a 90 and something, if they show up and that's the reason why we lose, I can't get too upset. Like a 91 overall defense, more often than not, is easily the best defense in the league. Just so happens we're 92. Come on, baby. Justin Herbert, beat the fraud allegations. This is your time. Win a Super Bowl. You beat all the, social media quarterback. You lose this Super Bowl. Well, rest is history. First points go to the Giants, but it's a field goal. We decide, hey, we're going to trade field goals. We're going to show that these are 2 top defenses. But we're also going to show the first breakthrough is going to go to clearly the best offense. Turnover, forced by the Chargers. Now, I don't like the fact we've had 3 drives end up in field goals, but our defense has only given up field goals, so that is fine. Huge drive here, kicking off the second half. First and goal on the 6. If we get this to 22, I think we're probably going to get over. But look at that, the number 1. Not even the number 1, but the 91 overall defense has done nothing but keep them in it. There's no way, man. We've had like 5 drives end up in field goals. So brutal. 1 touchdown is all we need. 27-13, 2 minutes to go. And the Chargers. Now, we kicked so many field goals in that one. And that needs to be kudos to that very good Giants defense. We get it done, baby. A 4-0 playoff run and Super Bowl win. Versus the New York Giants. Put a pin in it. The Chargers rebuild, a success within 5 years. And all it took was me, I think, honestly. Now, I know the people, honestly, I can probably find an answer to this. With people that mods, because people that mod can kind of see all the under the hood things, and they've exposed kind of how the Super Sim, all these things work, because you can see it. Like, is there something in terms of motivation or boost or something when you don't give a player a contract extension that they play better? Because I think that's exactly what we saw from Justin Herbert. I mean, not a great showing here in the Super Bowl, 269 yards, had no touchdowns. And if we're giving out a Super Bowl MVP, it's probably not. I mean, he was efficient. I don't know. This is one of those weird ones where, like, I don't really know. The MVP is going to Trey Harris, maybe? 9 catches for 111 yards. They might just say biasly, we'll give it to the quarterback who had a super efficient game. But Justin Herbert didn't play good until we made him work for a new contract. I think there might be something there. I think this might be applicable to future rebuilds. I'm going to bank this one. Next time we have an underperforming player, in particular a quarterback, and it's a contract year, make him earn it. Maybe even if it costs you a little bit. If you wait till, like, the negotiation period in the offseason before free agency starts, that, extra $10, $20 million could be worth the price of him having a breakout season and maybe playing up to their stats. As we always like to do to close out our rebuilds after a successful Super Bowl win, let's take a look at our player stats and what they're able to achieve during this 5-year period. Justin Herbert, just under 42,000 total yards passing, 284 touchdowns to 103 picks. He was very whelming, to say the least. Year 1 wasn't really good. Year 2 wasn't really good. Year 3 ended up fire offensive coordinator to try to salvage Justin Herbert. Year 4 was better, but still not great. And then, again, just withholding the bag. Got Justin Herbert balling out of his mind. Omarion Hampton, 5 seasons, 6,000 yards rushing and 59 touchdowns. Look at that. 0 fumbles. Incredible talent. Like, I, as of right now, have no idea who's getting in the thumbnail of this video. It might have to be Hampton. Receiving 8,400 yards, 74 touchdowns for Ladd McConkey in the slot was a cheat code. 5,600 yards, 35 touchdowns for Johnson, who absolutely redeemed himself and got rid of the bust tag. Trey Harris was solid as a weapon. Gadsden was solid as a weapon. I think, if we had this type of offense, this year 5 offense, more years, obviously, I think all of these guys would have had much bigger numbers. Derwin James finishes his career over 1,000 tackles, 1,200 tackles, 34 TFLs, 18 sacks, 21 picks for one of the most versatile DBs the league has ever seen. We got 78 sacks on 74 TFLs for Tui Pelotu, 45.5 sacks for Ruben Bain, who was awesome, 25.5 for LJ McCray, 24 from Kyle Kennard, 13 from Justin Scott, 26 picks, Tarheeb Still, but for my money, the star of the show on the defensive side of the ball, for as awesome as Jalen Kilgore was, for a second-round pick, started developing into an X-Factor, DJ Pickett was something special. There you have it, fellas. There is our LA Chargers Madden 25 offseason rebuild, able to get that Super Bowl win within year 5, and our journey continues. We are on pace to rebuild all 32 teams with offseason rebuilds before college football 26 drops, because obviously when that drops, it's going to take over the channel. We also have, a couple more games left of our current playoff run in pink slips. It might be tomorrow, I'm thinking. So we got a nice little window here, kind of wrap up things in Madden 25. So I'm excited for that. But what I need you guys to do in the comment section below is comment who we should rebuild next. Couple big teams that I've seen. Only thing I like to do is space out when I use like a big name quarterback. When the quarterback is like the feature player of a rebuild, I kind of want to space that out. I don't want to do like 3 quarterback featured rebuilds in a row. So that's kind of why I put this buff here. Our last rebuild, obviously, we used Bryce Underwood, the 5-star Michigan college football 26 cover athlete, as our Kyler Murray replacement in Arizona. So I didn't want this rebuild to be, featured around another big name prolific quarterback. So that's why we featured Omarion Hampton and the LA Chargers. So that means our next rebuild, though, if you guys want to see any team that, may need some quarterback help, that could be a great time to take a look at that. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out. Love ya. Have a good one.